Lyra sat on the cold floor of the alien prison cell. Her hands were tied, her clothes were torn. The room was dark, with only a red light blinking on the wall. Outside the cell, two tall alien guards stood, laughing and talking in their strange language. One of them pointed at Lyra and laughed louder. "Weak human," he said in broken English. The other nodded. They both believed she was just another prisoner, small, scared, and useless. But Lyra did not move. She stayed quiet, still, and watched. She listened to every word, every footstep, every sound. She was not weak. She was waiting. She had been on their ship for 5 days. No food, no water, only pain. They had dragged her here from the battlefield. Her team had been wiped out. She had fallen behind, injured. They thought they had captured the weakest one. They were wrong. Every night, the guards laughed louder. They played loud music to keep the prisoners awake. They walked by her cell and said rude things, but Lyra never replied. She never begged. She just kept watching, learning. The guards never saw her eyes. They thought she looked down in fear. But her eyes were always moving. She was mapping the ship in her mind, counting the guards, noting the camera positions. She noticed that every 6 hours, the guards changed shifts. She noticed that the camera outside her cell blinked for 2 seconds every 10 minutes. That meant it was off for those 2 seconds. It was a small thing, but to Lyra, it was everything. On the 6th day, something happened. A young alien soldier walked by her cell, holding a glowing device. It looked like a small tablet. As he passed, he tripped, and the device fell, landing just near the bars. He cursed and looked around. The guards were busy laughing. He bent down to pick it up, but Lyra moved fast. Her foot shot out through the bars and kicked the device under the bed in her cell. The soldier stared at her, shocked. He didn't expect her to move. Not after 6 days of silence. She gave him a weak, tired smile. "Sorry," she said in a soft voice. The soldier growled and walked away, thinking it was just a mistake. When he was gone, Lyra reached under the bed and pulled out the device. It was a control pad. She turned it on carefully. The screen lit up in a strange alien language, but Lyra had trained for this. She had seen this before. She touched a few symbols. The screen changed. A map of the ship appeared. She smiled to herself. That night, she didn't sleep. She studied the map. The prison section had 10 cells, 20 guards in total. There was a weapons room 2 halls away. The control room was 3 levels above. And the communication tower, her way to contact Earth, was on the top level. Locked, guarded, but reachable. Suddenly she heard footsteps. She hid the device under the bed and sat back, looking weak again. The 2 guards walked by, laughing as usual. One of them stopped and stared at her. "You still alive?" he asked with a grin. She didn't reply. He banged on the bars. "Stupid human," he said. Then he walked away. Lyra waited. 10 minutes passed. The camera blinked. 1, 2, off. She moved again. This time she tapped the device and opened the door controls. Each cell had its own lock system. She found her cell number and pressed the symbol. Nothing happened. She tried again. This time a soft click came from the door. She stood slowly and pushed it. It didn't open all the way, but it moved. A little. She didn't open it yet. No. Not now. It wasn't time. She had more work to do. The next morning, one of the other prisoners, an old man from Mars Colony, looked at her. "Why are you smiling?" he asked. Lyra looked at him and whispered, "Because they think I'm weak." He frowned. "Aren't you?" he asked. She didn't answer. Later that day, the guards were called away. Something had happened on the other side of the ship. Lyra used the moment to slip the device to the old man in the next cell. She whispered instructions. He nodded. The plan was starting. That night she sat quietly again, still, silent, waiting. The guards passed once more. One of them stopped again and looked at her. "Still alive?" he said. "You humans break so easily." Lyra looked up slowly, her face calm, her eyes cold. She said nothing. The guard laughed and walked away. Under her breath, Lyra whispered, "Not broken, just watching." Behind her, the control pad blinked once, a camera shut off, and she smiled. Lyra sat on the cold floor just like before. The red light blinked slowly on the wall. The camera above her was still moving, watching, but she knew its blind spots now. She had timed them again and again. She could move when the light blinked twice. 2 seconds. That was enough. In her hand, hidden behind her back, was the alien device she had stolen. She had learned more from it in the last 12 hours. She could now see security patterns, door locks, and camera feeds. She didn't smile. Not yet. Smiles were for later. One of the guards, the tall one with yellow skin and 4 eyes, walked past her cell. He glanced at her, as usual, but this time, his steps slowed. He looked longer. Something was different. She wasn't slumped over like before. She was sitting straight, watching. He stopped. You move different," he said in broken English. "You hiding something?" Lyra didn't speak. She lowered her eyes and tried to look weak again. She coughed and leaned back. The guard stared a moment longer, then laughed. "Still weak," he said. "Soon you go to lab, they test you." Then he walked away. Lyra's hands tightened. The lab. She had seen it on the map. That was where the aliens did experiments. No one came back from there. She had to move faster. That night, when the lights dimmed and most guards were asleep, Lyra slipped out the control pad again. She tapped the screen, opened the prison map, and selected cell number 4. Inside was a woman named Kira, a fighter from Titan Base. She was tough but injured. Lyra had watched her too. She trusted her. She pressed the unlock command. A soft click came. Kira looked up, surprised. Her door didn't open fully, just a crack, enough to slip out when no one was watching. Kira looked across at Lyra and whispered, "Who are you?" Lyra stared at her. "Not who they think I am," she whispered back. Kira nodded. She understood. She waited near the door, ready. The next cell was a man named Darn. He had 1 arm but a strong voice. Lyra unlocked his cell too. Then 1 more. She didn't open all cells yet. Only 3. Enough for now. She made a plan in her head. Short, fast steps. First, unlock a few cells. Second, reach the weapons room. Third, take control of the lower hallway. But for all this, she needed time and silence. No alarms. Suddenly, a loud noise came from down the hall. A scream. One of the guards dragged a prisoner toward the lab. The prisoner fought, cried out. The other guards only laughed. Lyra's heart beat faster. She knew what would happen to him. She had no weapons, no tools, only her mind. She whispered, "Stay calm," to the others. Not yet. Later, while the guard slept in the rest zone, Lyra crept to her door and pushed it gently. It opened slowly. The hallway was quiet. The camera above her head blinked twice. Off. She moved. She crouched low, walked without sound. She reached Kira's cell and pulled the door. Kira slipped out. Then Darn. Then the third. They followed her like shadows. They moved down the hallway, past the control panel, to a small storage room. Inside were uniforms, tools, and a few alien stun rods. Lyra handed them out. "Still not telling us who you are?" Darn asked. Lyra looked at him. "Call me what you want," she said. "Just follow me." They all listened. They returned to their cells before the guard shift changed. Doors closed quietly. No one saw. No one knew. The guards came back, looked around, and found everything normal. But one guard, the tall one with 4 eyes, stopped again at Lyra's cell. He looked longer. He frowned. Your eyes, he said. Not scared? Why? Lyra said nothing. She looked down again, but this time her lips moved, just a little. The guard leaned closer. What did you say? Lyra whispered. I'm not scared of you. The guard's eyes narrowed. He opened his mouth to speak, but the alarm beeped in his earpiece. He stepped back and walked away, talking to someone on his comms. Inside the cell, Lyra let out a slow breath. She had shown too much. She had to be careful now. Later that night, she sat with her back to the wall thinking. She remembered her training, her team, the mission. She had been part of Human Recon Unit 9, one of the best. She was trained for capture, escape, sabotage. They taught her how to break systems, trick enemies, use silence as a weapon. She had watched her team die in battle. She was caught, hurt, dragged away. But she remembered every face, every promise. She wasn't here to survive. She was here to destroy them from inside. The camera blinked twice and Lyra opened her eyes. The prison lights flickered as the ship moved through deep space. Outside the small cell windows, there was only darkness and stars. Lyra sat in the same spot, quiet as always. But her mind was working fast. She now controlled 4 prisoners. Quietly, carefully. No one knew. The guards still believed she was just a weak girl sitting alone in the corner. But things were changing. Her plan was in motion. The stolen alien device sat hidden under a loose piece of the floor. Every night, when the cameras blinked, Lyra pulled it out and worked. She studied new parts of the ship. She saw routes to the engine room, to the labs, and most importantly, to the tower on the top level, the communication room. That tower was the only place where she could send a signal to the human fleet. If she could get there, she could tell Earth where this ship was, and maybe, just maybe, they would come. But the tower was guarded, locked, and powered by a special code. One mistake and she'd be caught, killed, or worse, sent to the lab. Lyra waited for the right time. That time came 2 days later. During a routine shift change, a small explosion happened in the engine room. Just smoke, no damage, but enough to send half the guards running. It wasn't an accident. Lyra had used the device to overheat a pipe. While the guards were busy, Lyra and Kira slipped out. They wore stolen uniforms and walked fast, heads down. No one stopped them. No one asked questions. They looked like alien workers, tall boots, covered faces, silent. They climbed the stairs to the 2nd level, then the 3rd. Every hallway looked the same. Gray metal, blinking lights, loud machines. But Lyra remembered the map. She didn't get lost. Finally, they reached a large door with red lights above it, the comms tower. Lyra pulled the device and scanned it near the lock. The door beeped once, then twice, then opened. Inside, screens covered the walls. One large screen showed a map of nearby space. A single alien sat at the controls, wearing headphones, typing fast. Lyra walked up behind him. Quiet. Careful. The alien turned just as Kira raised a stun rod and struck him in the neck. He fell without a sound. Lyra ran to the panel. She looked at the strange symbols. She didn't know the alien language fully, but the device helped. She found the right controls. She typed fast. A signal was sent. A short message. Just a location, a code, and one word: alive. Then she turned off the power. No trace. They left the body where it was, locked the door, and walked back. By the time the guards returned, everything was normal. The smoke was gone, the systems were stable, and Lyra was back in her cell, sitting in the corner. That night, the old man in the cell across from her leaned forward. "Was that you?" he asked softly. Lyra didn't answer. He smiled. "You're one of them, aren't you? A shadow soldier. My brother told me about you." Lyra looked up. "I'm just someone who doesn't like cages," she said. Another prisoner joined in. "What now? We fight?" "Not yet," Lyra said. "We wait. We grow." She started opening more cells. Slowly. Only the strong ones. Only the ones who could keep quiet. Each person given a task, map a hallway, watch the guards, learn the shift times. They built a silent team. No one made noise. No one acted brave. They looked weak. Just like her. But under the surface, they were ready. Meanwhile, on the other side of the galaxy, the human fleet picked up a strange signal. A coded message. Old military style. The commander looked at the screen. The signal was short, but clear. A prisoner was alive. Sending location. One of their own. They changed course. Back on the alien ship, the guards started noticing small things. Unlocked storage doors, tools missing, lights flickering. They blamed the systems, or bad luck. None of them looked at Lyra. All but one. The tall alien guard with the yellow skin. He had been watching her closely. He noticed her silence, her eyes, the way others looked at her when they thought no one was watching. One night he walked to her cell and stood there. "You are not weak," he said. Lyra looked up slowly. "What makes you think that?" "You wait. You watch. You do nothing. That is not weakness, that is danger." She said nothing, just stared at him. He leaned closer. "Soon the general comes. He will see you, and he will break you." Lyra looked back at him with steady eyes. "Let him come." The guard didn't laugh this time. He walked away without a word. Inside her cell, Lyra turned to the others. "The general is coming," she said. "What do we do?" someone asked. Lyra smiled for the first time in days. "We give him a welcome." The ship became silent. More guards stood at their posts. Lights stayed on longer. Cameras moved faster. The prisoners could feel it. Something was coming. Lyra sat in her usual spot, back against the wall, her eyes half closed. But inside, her heart was calm and focused. She knew. The general had arrived. He was not like the other aliens. He didn't laugh. He didn't shout. He didn't need to. His presence was enough to make the guards stand straighter, quieter. He wore dark black armor with sharp edges. His eyes were cold and silver. He looked at everything like it was already dead. Lyra first saw him when he walked past her cell. He stopped, turned, looked directly at her. She didn't move. He stared for 5 full seconds, then spoke in perfect English. "So, you are the one who's been hiding fire behind silence." She didn't respond. He leaned closer. "You don't look like much, but I've seen weak things become dangerous before." He turned to a guard. "Bring her to the chamber now." 2 guards rushed in. They unlocked her cell and pulled her out roughly. She didn't fight. Not yet. They dragged her through long, cold hallways into a new room. It was wide and dark, with a bright light in the center. A chair stood there made of steel with metal straps for arms and legs. They threw her into it and locked her in. The general walked around her slowly. "You've been opening cells," he said. "You've been watching, plotting. You even sent a signal. Impressive, but pointless." Lyra stayed silent. "You think your people will come for you?" he asked. "They won't. And even if they do, they will find your bones." He pressed a button. The chair buzzed. Lyra gritted her teeth as a shock went through her arms. Pain hit her hard, but she didn't scream. The general watched her closely. "Interesting," he said. The shock stopped. He stepped closer. "Tell me your rank, your unit, your mission." Lyra looked up. Her voice was soft. "You're wasting time." The general raised his hand again, but before he could press the button, a loud alarm rang across the ship. "Warning. Energy core overload. Sector 7. The lights flickered. The general cursed in his language. "Check it," he ordered the guards. They rushed out. He looked back at Lyra. "Your little rats are moving faster than I thought," he said. Then he walked out, locking the chamber door behind him. As soon as he left, Lyra twisted her wrists. Hidden in her sleeve was a small metal pin, sharp and thin, stolen from a repair kit. She worked it into the lock on the chair's arm. It clicked. One arm free, 2 more clicks, and she was out. She moved fast, opening a small hatch on the wall and crawling inside. It was a tight space, air vents for engineers. She had memorized the path. Behind her, guards rushed back to the chamber. "Oi, gone," one of them shouted. "Seal the vents," the general roared. But Lyra was already ahead. She dropped into a lower hallway and rolled behind a box. Kira and Darn were waiting. Kira handed her a stun rod and nodded. "We're ready," she whispered. "All 8 of us. 8 prisoners, all trained, all armed with stolen rods and tools. Each one had a task. The engine room is set," Darn said. "One wrong button, and the whole ship shakes." "Good," Lyra replied. "We don't destroy the ship. We take control of it." Kira looked worried. "And the general?" Lyra's voice was cold. "He's mine." The group split. Some went to disable cameras. Others headed toward the weapon room. Lyra moved alone, back to the upper level. She found the general near the bridge. He stood with 4 guards. When he saw her, he smiled. "Knew you'd come," he said. "I told you," Lyra replied. "You're wasting time." He pulled out a blade from his side. "Let's test your strength, human." Lyra didn't wait. She ran forward, striking first. The stun rod hit the first guard. He dropped. She ducked, turned, kicked another in the chest. The third guard slashed, cutting her arm, but she didn't stop. The general watched with calm eyes, then stepped in. He was strong, fast, trained, in battle. His blade moved like lightning. But Lyra was faster. She blocked, dodged, and struck his leg. He stumbled. "You fight well," he said, "but you will die alone." "No," Lyra said. "You're the one who's alone." Behind him, Kira appeared, then Darn, then more prisoners. All ready. The general looked around, and for the first time he looked unsure. Lyra stared at him. "You thought I was weak. You were wrong." Then she struck again, hard, fast, final. The general fell, and the prisoners began to take the ship. The general's body hit the floor with a heavy thud. His silver eyes stared at nothing. For a moment the hallway was silent. Then Kira whispered, "He's dead." Lyra didn't look away. He was the strongest they had, and now he's gone. Behind her, more prisoners gathered. Strong ones, scared ones, broken ones, but all of them ready now. They had seen it. Lyra, the quiet girl in chains, had just defeated the one no one dared to challenge. Darn stepped forward, holding a stolen blaster. "We do this now or we never get another chance." Lyra nodded. No turning back. They moved quickly. Darn and 2 others headed to the control room. Their job, shut down the cameras, open all cell doors. The plan was simple. Wake everyone. Kira led a small group to the armory where more weapons were stored. It would be hard, but if they could break in, they could arm hundreds of prisoners. Lyra stayed on the upper level, checking maps and timing. She could feel it in her chest, the energy of war rising fast. Suddenly the ship shook, boom. A loud explosion echoed below. Steam burst through a pipe. Red lights blinked. Sirens wailed. Darn's voice came through the stolen radio. "We blew the lock on the security door. Cameras are down. Doors are opening now." Across the prison, cell doors slid open with a hiss. Confused prisoners stepped out. Some were weak, some were afraid, but others, fighters, soldiers, survivors. They saw armed rebels and heard one name, Lyra. "She's leading us," someone said. "The general is dead," another shouted. And just like that, the silent prison became a storm. Guards ran in all directions. Some tried to fight. Some locked themselves in rooms. But it was too late. The tide had turned. Lyra sprinted down the hallway toward the bridge. If they took the bridge, they could fly the ship, or at least hold it. 2 guards blocked the final door. Lyra didn't stop. She swung her stun rod. One dropped. The other raised his weapon, but Kira shot him from behind. "Nice timing," Lyra said. "I'm not letting you have all the fun." Kira replied with a grin. They forced open the door and entered the bridge. Inside, 2 alien pilots reached for their controls. Lyra pointed her weapon. Don't. The pilots froze. We don't want to kill you, she said. We just want to go home. Darn's voice came again over the radio. Lyra, we've got the lower decks. More prisoners. Joining every minute. How's the armory? She asked. Almost open, Kira replied. Then another voice broke through. This is Commander Juno of the Earth Fleet. We received your signal. We're on our way. ETA 20 minutes. Lyra's eyes widened. They got the message. Yes, but the ship is still deep in alien space, said Darn. If the enemy sends reinforcements, we're trapped. Lyra looked out the large window. Stars filled the sky. The Earth Fleet would come, but they had to hold the ship until then. We lock every hallway, she said. Hold the bridge. Arm the prisoners. We make this ship a fortress. Kira smiled. You sure you're not a general yourself? Lyra didn't answer. She was already typing commands into the control screen, locking doors, sealing escape pods, disabling alien systems. In the halls, the battle grew louder. The prisoners fought like they had nothing to lose. Because they didn't. For months, years, they had lived in pain, silence, and fear. Now they had hope, and hope is a dangerous weapon. An alien officer shouted orders as he tried to rally a group of guards. Hold this line, protect the lab, but the lab was already burning. Prisoners stormed through the smoke. One of them, a young boy who had lost his brother to the experiments, held a stun rod high. This is for all of us. Back on the bridge, warning lights flashed. A new ship had entered the area. It's not Earth, Kira said. Enemy cruiser, big one. Lyra stayed calm. Shields up. Prepare to fight. We're outgunned, Darn said through the comms. We're not outnumbered, Lyra replied. Not anymore. Then, bright light. From the far side of the stars, 3 Earth Fleet ships dropped out of warp. Commander Juno's voice echoed again. To all enemy forces, stand down. You are surrounded. This ship is now under human protection. On the alien cruiser, confusion spread. Inside the prison ship, guards threw down their weapons. The fighting slowed, then stopped. Prisoners began cheering. Some cried. Some fell to the ground exhausted. Lyra stood at the front of the bridge looking at the stars. She whispered, We're not done yet. Because she knew. This was only the beginning. The Earth Fleet had arrived, but the battle was not over. The prison ship floated in space, damaged and quiet. Smoke rose from broken walls. Bodies lay still in the halls, both alien and human. The prisoners had won. But victory felt strange. Lyra stood on the bridge, her eyes on the map screen. The stars glowed outside the window. Her hands were still shaking. Not from fear, but from something else. A voice came through the radio. Commander Juno, Lyra, you did something impossible, but we still need answers. What were they doing on that ship? Lyra turned to Kira. We need to go to the lab. Kira's face changed. You sure? The lab? It's bad down there. That's why I have to see it. They took the elevator down 5 levels, past damaged wires and dark corridors. The air was thick. It smelled of burnt metal and blood. Few people ever returned from the lower decks. Most didn't survive long enough to try. The lab door was wide open now. It had been broken during the fight. Lyra stepped inside. The room was cold. Bright lights flickered overhead. Glass tubes lined the walls, some broken, others filled with green liquid. Inside those tubes were humans, some young, some old, all floating, asleep, or worse. Lyra walked past them slowly. They were experimenting, she said. Testing us. Kira found a computer screen still working. Strange alien symbols glowed on it. Lyra placed the stolen device against it. The symbols turned into English. Subject, human female. Code 007 status, enhanced, DNA modified, memory block applied. Lyra stared. 017, that's me. Kira's eyes widened. Lyra, What does it mean? Lyra didn't answer right away. She moved to a broken mirror on the wall and looked at herself. I always wondered why I felt different, she said softly. Even before I was captured, I could see things others couldn't, feel danger before it came. She turned back to the screen. More words appeared. Note, Muro 17 shows signs of advanced combat instincts, possible military design. Memory removed for stability. Kira stepped closer. Lyra, you were made for war. No, Lyra said. They tried to turn me into a weapon, but I'm not their tool. She scrolled deeper into the files. More names. More numbers. Subject 011, deceased. Heart failure. Subject 015, escaped. Status unknown. Then, one file blinked red. Subject 018, alive. Location, Sector 9. Lyra's heart stopped. There's another one. Another like you? Kira asked. Lyra nodded. Sector 9, let's go. They ran down 2 more levels. Sector 9 was sealed, blocked, by heavy doors. Darn met them there with 2 soldiers from the Earth Fleet. We picked up strange energy down here, he said. Looks like a cryo unit. They forced the door open. Inside, the room was dark. One large pod stood in the center, glowing blue. A boy, maybe 17 years old, floated inside, asleep. Wires covered his body. His face looked calm, almost peaceful. Lyra stepped forward. Her fingers brushed the pod. Her voice was soft. He's like me. Kira looked at the readings. His heart is slow, but he's alive. Darn frowned. Should we wake him? Lyra thought for a moment. Not yet. We don't know what they did to him. Commander Juno's voice came again. Lyra, status report? We found the lab. We found the truth, she said. They were building weapons from people like me. There was silence for a moment. Then Juno replied, We'll send a science team, bring the boy, bring the data. And Lyra, thank you. Later, as the ship was being cleaned and repaired, Lyra stood alone in the old lab. The bodies were gone, the tubes were empty, but the ghosts remained. Kira walked in. You okay? No, Lyra said, but I will be. You think more of these projects are out there? Lyra nodded. I know it. What will you do? Lyra looked at her reflection again. For the first time, she saw herself clearly. Not as a prisoner, not as a soldier, but as someone who survived everything and was still standing. I'm going to find them, she said. All of them. And stop whatever this is before it grows. Kira smiled. Then I guess I'm coming with you. Lyra turned to her. We're not prisoners anymore. We're something else now. Kira nodded. We're the beginning. Outside the lab, the stars were waiting. They called her a ghost. Stories spread across space. About a girl with chains who escaped, who killed a general, who led a prison revolt and vanished before anyone could catch her. No one knew where she went. Some said she died. Some said she was hunting the aliens in secret. Only a few knew the truth. Lyra was alive, and she was not hiding. It had been 3 months since the prison ship was taken. Earth Fleet had taken control, studied the lab, and started looking for other places like it. But Lyra didn't wait. She left with Kira and Darn, along with a small team of survivors. They took a stolen scout ship. Quiet, fast, armed. Their mission was simple. Find the others. The alien network was bigger than they thought. Many labs, many prisoners, some dead, some changed, some dangerous. Lyra found a base on the edge of a red star system. The place was hidden inside an asteroid. No one from Earth had ever seen it. But Lyra had felt it, like a whisper in her mind. A connection. She stood outside the base now, dressed in black armor taken from the fallen general. The same silver. Eyes stared at her from a screen. A new commander, taller, colder, stronger. We remember you, the alien said. We remember your blood. I remember yours too, Lyra answered. You tortured people. You tried to build weapons out of them. They were weak. You are proof of our success. No, Lyra said. I'm proof of your failure. Then the battle began. Her team entered fast, silent. One by one, they took out the guards. Kira moved through vents, placing charges. Darn hacked the system. They opened cages, freed more prisoners. Some were barely alive. Others were ready to fight. But Lyra didn't stop for them. She moved deeper, toward the core. That's where they kept Subject 001, the first human they ever tested. The one they said was perfect, the one who never escaped. She found him in a tank, frozen in ice. His eyes were closed. His body was covered in scars. And then, he opened his eyes. You're like me, he said. Yes, Lyra said. But we're not like them. He stepped out of the tank. Weak at first, but getting stronger by the second. They called me Ghost, he said. I destroyed 3 of their labs, but they caught me again. Then let's finish what you started, Lyra said. Outside, the enemy gathered. Ships were launching. Alarms screamed. Kira's voice came through the comm. Lyra, we need to go. They're surrounding us. Blow the base, Lyra said. We'll be trapped. I know. She turned to Subject 01. Ready? He smiled. Born ready. They ran through fire and smoke, blasting open doors, escaping through falling steel. Darn flew the ship low, just above the ground. Kira jumped in first, then Subject 01. Then Lyra. Boom! The charges exploded behind them. The whole asteroid shook. Flames reached the sky. The base was gone. Lyra looked back. Once, then sat down, breathing hard. Her arm was burned, her heart was racing. But inside, she felt something new. Peace. Later, in deep space, the team sat around the control room. Darn patched up wounds. Kira checked their course. Subject 001 looked out the window. They'll come after us, he said. Let them. Lyra replied. You're famous now, Kira said with a grin. The aliens call you the Ghost Girl. They thought you were weak, Darn added. Now they tell stories to scare their own soldiers. Lyra didn't smile. She just looked forward. We're not finished, she said. There are more labs, more people like us. Subject 001 nodded. Then let's burn every last one of them. Kira raised a glass of water. To the ghost, Darn raised his. To the fire. Lyra raised hers last. To the ones still lost. We'll find you. Outside, the stars stretched forever. But Lyra was no longer a prisoner, she was the storm. She was the ghost in the dark, and this time, they were the ones who should be afraid.